welcome to Starting with Sheep. This video is going to be all about the care that you need to give your newborn lambs and your freshly birthed ewes. So I'm going to go through a few things with you in this video and hope you enjoy it and learn something. Predominantly the ewe will look after her own lamb, but there's things that the shepherd will need to do to ensure that that lamb remains healthy, and that includes putting iodine on the navel, making sure the ewe's got milk, giving it its little kickstart drench at the beginning, and also what to look out for with infections and what have you in the ewe. So one of the first things you need to do when you find a newborn lamb or you see a newborn lamb being born is to get the iodine and surgical spirit onto their navels. This is because in effect it's an open wound and is a superhighway for germs and bacteria, and can lead on to illnesses later on in their life, such as joint ill at about 3 or 4 weeks, where you'll find the lamb very stiff in its joints and that. So it's really important that you spray the navel or dip the navel. So I've got my newborn lamb. As you can see, you've got the navel end there. You want to make sure it's all sort of in one place so you can get it covered well. So you get your spray and you literally give it a really good soaking. Make sure it's all covered. And just move it, make sure you get the underneath. And there. Sometimes it's worth doing again the second day. I don't, unless it still looks wet. If it still looks wet after a couple of days, it might be worth putting some antibiotic spray on it. What I'm going to do now is check that she's got milk. So you literally just get her teat, I don't know if you can see that, and draw your fingers and your thumb down to check like that, so she's got plenty of good milk there. One of the things it's worth looking out for is that your ewe births her cleansing or afterbirth. Now, it's not majorly important if you don't see it, but it might be worth looking out for it in the pen, just so you know that she's birthed it, because if she retains it, it can cause a bit of an infection. Now, what you're actually looking out for, and I've got one here, it's not the prettiest of things, but for somebody who's not kept sheep or done a lambing, it's worth knowing what to look for. So in this bucket, I have one long piece of tissue, and it's got like little lumps all the way down it. Now, if they retain that, they can get quite a nasty infection. So it's worth looking out for that. If in a couple of days you've got a sick ewe and you can't remember seeing the afterbirth or the cleansing, then it's worth calling a vet or getting some antibiotics to jab her. There is a drug that can also make her birth the afterbirth, but as I say, you need to get that from your vet. So once you've popped your ewes and lambs in a pen, you really just need to observe for the next couple of days. You want to check that your lamb's feeding. You want to check that the ewes well and she's eating and drinking well and she hasn't got an infection. One of the other things that you need to look out for is a cold lamb. Now, a cold lamb won't suck, so there could be many reasons why it's gone cold, so you need to warm it back up. Now, you will initially see a lamb that's quite hunched up in the back and standing with all 4 feet quite close together. Now, you can take the temperature of a lamb by inserting a thermometer into its back passage. You can get these from country stores. And a lamb's temperature should read 40 degrees C. If it's cold, it won't, as I say, it won't suck. So you need to get some feed into it. It may be that it's poorly and you may need to give it an antibiotic, But once the lamb is warm, it will suck again on its own. Need to check that the ewes still giving milk. And if she isn't, you need to contact your vet. You may need to give her something to bring the milk in. It's really important that lambs get colostrum in their first few hours of life. So if you don't think they've had any, then you need to be feeding some artificial colostrum. In the initial few days after birthing, there's a couple of things you need to look out for in the ewe. Make sure that she's not too lethargic, that she's getting up. Make sure that she hasn't got an infection. If you think she's poorly, check her temperature, get her some antibiotics. Make sure that she's eating. She needs nutrition to be able to feed her lambs. Make sure she's drinking properly, and make sure that there's not any smelly discharge coming from her back end. Ewes will discharge for up to 3 weeks afterwards, but as long as it's not smelly, you haven't got a lot to worry about. So I hope today's videos helped you, and that you've now got nice healthy ewes and lambs ready to go out to the field. So for now and until next time, it's happy sheep keeping.